Jay, do you have any further reflections on Sunday's game against Ipswich?
Yeah, obviously we're still disappointed and we've had enough time to dissect the game and look at where we need to improve. I don't think we imposed ourselves physically onto the game in the early stages and we allowed Ipswich to get into a bit of a rhythm. And when you allow Ipswich to get into rhythm, they've got quality. They've got an identity and they were good on the ball in that first half. And obviously really happy with Angie's moment for the goal and felt that got us back into the game. And second half when we've gone 2-1 up, I think the biggest reflection piece is how do we leave that stadium with a 2-1 result, and straight from kick-off really disappointed with our kind of head loss from kick-off and allowing that second goal, albeit under controversy, and then the third one going into the last 10 minutes. Cognitively we switched off and given away a real silly error, and that's what we've got to eradicate now. I think when you look back at the goals, there's been a lot of individual moments of poor discipline, poor detail, poor decision making, and I think if we can eradicate that from the game, then we'll slowly start to pick up points.
And obviously in the first half there were 2 enforced substitutions. Can you give us an update on any injuries?
Yeah, no, so both obviously went off for scans, waiting to obviously get the assessment, but I think the initial concern is that they'll be out up until the international break, so probably around 3, maybe 4 weeks, if not further. So we'll keep assessing them from the weeks, but I don't think we'll be seeing them over the next 4 games.
And how about the rest of the team? How have they come out of Sunday's game into this week of training?
Yeah, no, obviously, so we took an extended recovery period, obviously coming through 3 games with a smaller squad, so a lot of players probably playing more minutes than we would have liked in terms of that rotation piece, and you could probably see that towards the last 20 minutes against Ipswich. I think we were fatigued and we were lethargic, and it wasn't ideal, but obviously huge credit to the players that we got on the pitch, and yeah, going obviously into this game now, we got Ella Rutherford back in for longer periods, and Ange Nixon will be hopefully back in for longer periods too. So yeah, no, we've got through kind of that period of recovery, and now obviously had a real good week's prep going into Forest.
And obviously you mentioned their Forest on Sunday. What kind of challenge are you expecting from them?
Yeah, well, they're a different promoted team from obviously the one we faced last week with Ipswich. Ipswich keeping hold of 13 players and adding quality from the league, whereas Forest have kind of ripped the book up and done it a little bit different. And they've obviously brought in players with pedigree, quality, players that understand the level and their level higher. And then for them, it's just about piecing it together and building connections. And similarly to us, in a way of trying to build 11 new players and trying to build the connections, it takes a little bit of time. But Forest have been in all their games. The games that they've lost have been tight, lost by 1 goal. And the games in which they've won, again, both away from home, and games that they've won again by the odd goal. So yeah, they have a style of play. We understand how they want to play without the ball and their fluidity and movement with the ball. Made 13 changes over 4 games, so trying to pinpoint who's going to play in their moments and play in the different units is obviously going to be a challenge. But whatever players they throw in there, they've definitely got quality.
And what are you hoping to see from your side?
I'm hoping to see more aggression. I'm hoping to see more discipline and compactness against the ball. I think there were moments where we got played through too easily, and we lost too many duels, first balls, second balls, and it's always difficult, like you said, going into a 3-game week at the end of the week. Probably the game with the most intensity at the end of the week too. So a little bit different in terms of how we've managed the players to enable that to be a factor at the weekend. But I want to see more courage with the ball and looking at more of our structure. I think we lost a little bit of structure in that first half. So a lot of this week's been about embedding our structure and embedding how we want it to look and how we want to move the ball, where we want to move the ball. And the biggest thing, how are we going to move the ball to not only hurt Forest, but to impose ourselves, to impose our identity. And that's been the biggest piece this week.